This might just be the craziest mechanical keyboard that I have ever come across. It is really cheap at just 100 ringgit, it has RGB lighting, it has hot-swappable switches, and it is very lightweight. So what are you getting out of this 100 ringgit mechanical keyboard? Let's find out. So the MKA-1C Neo is available in color options of black and white, and in terms of switches, you get to choose between linear, clicky, and tactile switches. But right here on this table, we are only getting the linear and tactile model right here. So on the black color model here, we have the tactile switches, which is in brown color, and on the left side, we have the linear switches, which is a red color switch, as you guys may know very well on how they work already. So this is a 61 key keyboard that is actually really nice to transport around. Even though it is not a wireless keyboard, I still hate that it has this non-detachable wire right here. But you know what? If you want a really lightweight mechanical keyboard that has RGB lighting and it types really well, this is probably one of the best choices that you can get right here. Now, of course, it doesn't have per key RGB lighting because it is a relatively affordable keyboard. So it has a 5-zone RGB lighting, which you can easily switch by just pressing on this dedicated lighting key right over here. So it has a total of 11 different lighting effects that you can choose from, which I think is more than sufficient for any gamers or any RGB keyboard lovers out there. Now, what I really like about this keyboard isn't just about its weight, but also how sturdy the keys feel when you type. It's not the kind of cheap keyboard feeling that feels wobbly on the keys and you don't feel that it's not stable at all. Overall, it actually types very much like a premium keyboard. I mean, I'm really surprised on how well this 100 ringgit keyboard is being built. The only thing that I have to complain is that it doesn't have a step on the back here to raise the height of the keyboard. So if you want the keyboard to have a higher height to type, so unfortunately you are out of options right there. You might just have to put something on the back to raise the height of the keyboard. But in my case here, I find that the keyboard height is actually more than sufficient for me to type comfortably on the table. But the only thing that you might just want to consider is to just buy probably a palm rest or something to put down here so that you can have a more comfortable typing experience. Now, out of the box, Armaggeddon offers a keycap and key switch puller, as well as 2 spare switches for you to swap if you happen to find any problems with them. I have no idea what brand that Armaggeddon uses right here, but if you happen to break one of them accidentally and ran out of spare switches, you could probably use like Gateron, Kai switches, or even like Cherry MX if you want to change a switch here, because it actually uses the pretty standard 2-pin plug here. So you just need to take it out of the keyboard and slot in a new switch and you are pretty much done. Now let's take a closer look at the keyboard layout. Now, as with all 61 key keyboard, the MKA-1C Neo has its own compromises on its layouts as well. That includes the lack of arrow keys, as they have been built onto the WASD keys right here. So if you are a frequent user of the arrow keys, you will have to press the function button on the WASD key every time when you want to use them. And I find that the most inconvenient feature of this 100 ringgit keyboard. Otherwise, there's no apps required to configure the lighting or anything that's on this keyboard. Now, in order to change the lighting, as I mentioned, all you need to do is to just press on this button and it will change between 11 lighting options, which I think you will find one that suits you really well. Now, you can also change the brightness of the RGB lighting right here by just pressing the function and this key here, which is to increase the brightness of the RGB lighting. And this one next to the L key is to increase the speed of the RGB lighting. And if you want to use print screen, scroller, and whatsoever, it's all right here on the Y, U, I, H, J, K, and the M, N, and common key. And you also get the benefit of using function row keys on the top here, which is something that I have to commend Armaggeddon for including function row keys on top, because to some users, this is still really important whenever you are in certain games. Now, for a 100 ringgit keyboard, you definitely don't expect Armaggeddon to include PPT keycaps right here, but they have fortunately guaranteed that this keycap is fade-proof for a lifetime, because they have used some kind of Kevlar tech keycaps on this keyboard here, which ensures that it will not fade off in a short term. And on their website, they even claim that this is a lifetime guarantee. So let's hope that is actually what it is. But based on my personal feel right here, these keycaps definitely feel very nice to touch. When you run your hands on them, they feel very smooth, and it's definitely something that wouldn't fade after playing for a few rounds. Next, let's move on to the typing test on these two keyboards so you will get to hear how the linear and tactile switches sound like. Overall, the Armaggeddon MKA-1C Neo is a really nice, affordable mechanical keyboard. It costs just 100 ringgit and it's just crazy to see how affordable mechanical keyboards have gotten just with this keyboard alone. It has hot-swappable switches, it has really nice RGB lighting despite not being a perky RGB, but most importantly, it is extremely lightweight at just 470 grams and it feels just effortless putting into my backpack and I bring it with me all the time. Alright, so that sums up for today's video. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below and be sure to subscribe to our channel for more videos coming right up and I'll see you guys in the next one.